Wednesday morning to you. Back in the garden. Let's take a look at what things are looking like. I got a few things that have been bothering me, or new things that I just want to get to. I cut a lot off of this mound, but it looks like I need to cut more off. I've got this is the thermometer that we replaced in the backyard, so I just kind of put it out here. I thought it would be kind of interesting to have it, although realistically right now the sun is baking this, so it thinks it's 90 something degrees. That's not the case. It's 80 at the most. So I'm planning on putting it up here, and I kind of have a plan for that. So see if I can get that done today. I wonder if I should cut the flowers off the arugula here. Ooh, looks like we got another one coming up there. Let's get rid of that plant. Let's finally deal with this wavy thing here and make sure the plants are securely going through it, so that if the raccoon comes back, he basically doesn't have anything to work with. So I'm going to take care of that. This is looking nice, but one thing I have to remember is to keep these under control. So it's getting a little bit more over to this side here. I've got to decide kind of where the cutoff line is and literally cut off parts of the plant just to keep it under control. I don't mind if it goes up. I don't mind if it comes forward just a little bit, but at some point I have to get it back under control. It's going to be the same for all three. I've got the straight nick, I've got the 8-ball, and I've got the patty pan. And now the patty pan is growing through, so I've got to deal with all of these. I just want to get that dealt with. No sign of growth yet here, but I'm not too disappointed. It takes a little time for the beans to pop, and I just been having a real problem with them this year. This one, it's about the same thing. I want the stuff to grow up through, and I want to keep the fencing material so that the raccoon is discouraged from destroying my plants. So a bunch of that to deal with. That's hanging down. There's actually a reason for it hanging down. I've got to figure out what to do with that. And I've still got to figure out the gate. So I got a bunch of different things, but I think I'm going to stick to the garden for the moment and get a bunch of this done. So let's get cranking. Okay, I'd say that's probably pretty good. Not bad. Cut back some of the nasturtium. I'm going to let some of this trail down. I don't mind trailing over the steps a little bit, but when it starts to encroach on everything else, it becomes a problem. So I cut back here. I've got my garden planter back. I took a taste of this one, which I couldn't remember what it was in the last video, and oh, wow, that's mustard. And it's strong. Up above, I've got the patty pan growing, and I'm trying to protect it the best I can. So I've got these two that I took apart and put there. I also put some boards there just so that there's no real place for the raccoon to dig. It's not my favorite way of doing it. I've got to come up with something at some point. I still have a piece of this fencing actually sitting over there, partially disassembled. I got partway through it and I decided I didn't need it right now, but cleared out, or actually kind of cut back the 8-ball, and a couple, unfortunately, of the fruits or flowers have kind of fallen off. I think it's getting warm today, so we'll see if this struggles or if the water tomorrow will help. Straight neck is doing fairly good. I managed to get that to kind of come through the thing. I put another board across it to keep it separated, so it's not falling on the plants anymore. That was really kind of the key. Cut back a lot more of this. It's just growing completely wild, but I didn't want to bury these other 2 pots here. Also, I just want to keep it under control. Down below here, I'm letting that grow over that direction. I'm not too worried. Another salad planter. I probably need to cut back some of the Swiss chard here. I'm not sure if you noticed it, but encountered a few snails that were over in this section of the garden. I put them up on the wall and let them have a little race while I was working. This one I've maneuvered a bit and got the dill growing through it, and I can see the cucumber back behind, so that's good there. And nothing really growing here yet, but I'm trying to be ready for it. So, oh, and then there's I got the thermometer up, so I'm not sure if that's going to be its final location. Also, I can put a second screw in. It turns out it's actually got 2 hanging parts there, so if I get the screws in the right position, it'll make it a bit more stable. But that's good enough for the moment. I'm not even sure if that's going to get caught on camera, but that was kind of my idea, was if I could be able to look at it on camera, this camera right there, which is my garden cam, then it'd be nice to be able to just sort of see how hot it got, and then if I see things are wilting, I can go back and look at what temperature it was. That's kind of the thinking. It's not the clearest thermometer because it's years old. It's faded in the sun and all of that, but it's still functional. So that's, I think, it for today as the garbage man shows up. So, yeah, I think that's it for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Mind-numbing, isn't it? So let's just jump into the time lapse. Okay, good Thursday morning to you. What that was a concrete truck and pumping. That neighbor is widening his driveway and he needs to put in a new retaining wall, and for that retaining wall he needs to have a good footing, and it's a very long driveway. It actually snakes behind the house to the left, so the house that the driveway is for is between the 2 houses you see on the left. So yeah, that's what that's all about. And I asked one of the construction guys, and he said 4 trucks. I'm not sure if it was 4 more after the first one at 7 o'clock this morning. This one was at 8 o'clock. If they continue this schedule, there'll be a 9 and a 10, and then the question is whether there's an 11. So it's just going to be noisy all morning, but I can clean up the front yard, I can keep going. So here we go. is still running, and the pool is now clean. I'm going to put a little bit more chlorine in the chlorinator, check all the levels and everything, but then I think the next thing is these. Let's see if I can get that. Oh, there we go, that one, and there's another one just beyond it. These need to be trimmed back. They're getting a little out of control, so that may not be the right order, because usually I do that before I clean the pool just in case stuff falls in, but I'll leave the pool open. I can get the basket and I can scoop the stuff out. So I think that's the plan. Let me just clean up, take a break, and then we'll hit that. Okay, I think that's a pretty good day's work. I could probably do the side. I could think of a million other things to do, but cleaned out the wheelbarrow as the neighbor starts up his noisy car. Put quite a bit in there. There was already some in there, to be clear. Got trees, bushes, whatever you want to call them, trimmed. Got the pool clean. I still got to test the chemicals and get the temperature and pull the cover back on, but there's stuff to clean up, so I think that's a fairly productive day. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Good Friday morning to you. I did a couple of things yesterday after I signed off. Let's go take a look at the garden and see what those are. Plus, I saw something that I hadn't spotted before, and I'm hoping it's corrected now. So, let's see. First of all, we had the fox kind of run through here, up along the top there, and then just disappear. Saw this cute little thing and thought, okay, I'm not going to put a plant in it, but when we water the plants there, water should land in there and become kind of a water source for birds, I hope. Plus, I placed it in an area where the raccoon tends to come up along here, probably because everything else is pretty well covered, and then jump up on the wall right about there. Or sometimes he does it this side, but I'm kind of thinking he's going to come up and that'll be staring him in the face. So we'll see if that has any effect. Ooh, we're actually doing pretty good on the fruit on the 8-ball. Yeah, looks like we've got 2 viable straight neck, and patty pan's doing nicely. But the one I was concerned about yesterday was I had noticed that the tomato up there had just wilted over and it looked really bad. So I went out and got, while I was getting this, I got a tomato cage. I already have one in the backyard. I already used that one up. So I added this one, and it looks like after giving it some water, it's bounced back. That makes me happy. Maybe I can go up there and train those branches just a little bit better. but I'm gonna have to watch it because if it's wilting that easily, that's not wonderful. Ooh, just noticing how big the peppers are getting there. So yeah, this is good. All right, so what do we got for today? That gate is done. I just need to still figure out how to fix the string that I put there. Oh, sorry. Now that I think of it, I still want to paint over here the house and the downspout so that because they've just gotten really kind of dirty. And yeah, I mean, you can kind of say, hopefully that's coming through, that it's really just kind of dirty around there, I think, where we've been reaching up and over to open it up. So, yeah, that's just the house color, which I believe is just Navajo white. So I'll take care of that today, I think. What else was I thinking I needed to get done today? I do want to get to the gate on this end. I haven't done that yet, so I've got to sand that puppy down and do a bit of spot priming, and yeah, then I can paint. So that's the thought on that. Oh, I know what to all the cleanup I did in the front yard yesterday, and the one thing I didn't do was mow the lawn. So I think I'm going to weed whack and mow the lawn. Let's start with that. Well, I got a late start, so I think I'm going to quit here. We'll just see. Yeah, I mean, there's more stuff to do, but there's more days to do it. That's it for today. See what tomorrow brings. Good Saturday morning to you. 40 minutes of raccoon footage. Yeah, he came back. I wanted to check on the garden. I'm under the weather right now, but I just wanted to make sure that things aren't completely decimated. The reason I'm focusing on this right now is he spent a long time in this patch of nasturtium. It's going to be hard for me to tell what he may or may not have dug up. Looks like the sprinklers went off okay. He didn't mess with those, so I think I'm okay, but I think he was so hungry that he didn't mind the peppery taste of nasturtium. Then I watched him come down here. Let's see what... well, I can see a half a snail. I don't know. Then he was over in here knocking stuff around. Yeah, I can see where he dug back there a little bit, but not that bad. He was over here for a little bit. I guess I can see he dug a little bit there. And what really made me nervous when he went back up and he was stepping through all of the fencing material, but it looks like the straight necks are okay. Looks like the 8-ball is okay, although I can see some stuff appears to have been chopped off. So I don't know. Yeah, wow. This has been, oh no, that's me cutting it back. All right, we're good there. Still don't have much for beans. And I can see I need to trim this back yet again. And then the one that really makes me nervous is the patty pan. And oh, check it out. We've got yard long right in front of the patty pan. So those are going, and a marigold in the back. So we'll get some flowers out of that before too long. But I watched him walk across a lot of this stuff, and doesn't look like he did any real damage. That makes me happy. Let's come back down here and make sure the dill is going crazy. That's good. The cucumber is trying to grow. Then we're over here, and this is supposed to be, yeah, more bush beans. They have not popped yet. And he spent some time over here. Yeah, you can see where he's kind of knocked things down and squished them pretty badly here. But I think I'm just going to see if these plants will bounce back. They got some water this morning. They should get some sun this afternoon. Yeah, you can see where he's just kind of lying around here. And let me double check up above. Alright, well I guess it's starting to look like the theme of this video is no major damage, despite being here for about 15 minutes. Then he went and he hung out in the back under the bottle brush there, or under the pine tree in the middle of the picture. And he just hung out there for a good long time, almost like he was scared of something and he was hiding. But I mean, I could see his little eyeballs reflecting, and yeah, so I mean, it's a good thing I've got this camera here. The camera in the back has a spider web over it, so I'm going to clear that off real quick. But I think that's it for today. Maybe his visits will turn into another wildlife video. I've already done it once. I can do it again. That's it for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings. How did I not spot this before? There's snail shells. That's what I was wondering about, that one back there. So maybe that's what he's going after, is he's yanking those suckers out of their shells and having a feast. We'll see. Good Tuesday morning to you. I think that pine cone came from that tree. I've never seen a pine cone out of that tree before, so you're seeing it roughly the same time I did. Plus however long it takes me to release this video. I've been down for the last few days. Let's call it an old man thing. I've got a new medication and it's been kicking my keister, so yeah, I'm gonna try and get out to the garden, get some stuff done, show you an update, just do some small things today. Number one, I went out and got some chain because, let me see if I can hold my phone here. The rope keeps coming untied. So I'm going to hook some chain up to this, and I think I'm going to try and set the same thing up on the other end there for that particular gate. But some good updates in the garden. My little whirlybird had a visitor over the weekend. A friend's kid. She's, what, 2? And she loved these things. So I sent one back with them. I'd already kind of thought maybe she might like that. So anyway, the nasturtiums in general are doing better after being trampled by the raccoon. You may hear some buzzing in the background. That is gardeners weed whacking the hill. If you can see, I don't know how much the glare is going to affect this, but there's a ton of grass up on the hill. Just these clumps of grass that grow, and I think what it is because I've been hearing a lot of it lately. Every year about this time, the city reminds all the neighbors that they need to cut that stuff back to clear because of wildfires. We don't want to have fuel for the wildfires, so if something does happen at a nearby house, it doesn't have more fuel. and generate larger flames, which then can give embers, and then they fly around, and the next thing you know, they're on top of somebody else's house, and it starts all over again. So, yeah, that's why they got to do all that. That's living in Southern California, or California in general, West Coast, really, because it gets hot enough that sometimes just a simple little spark can start a fire. The arugula, I keep looking at and wondering what to do with. I did look at harvesting the seeds, and I can kind of see there's a little seed pod right there, but realistically, nobody seems all that excited about the arugula, or most of the greens. I don't know why I thought everybody would want to make salads from the greens in the garden, but so I think I'm going to cut back these, because I did hear, I watched one video where somebody actually said these leaves will get hotter and hotter the longer you leave them on there. So, and I don't want it to go completely to seed, and it's a little distracting always having these things bouncing around, although it's pretty. So I think I'm going to cut that back a bit. Update on the upper planter. I can see over there I've got bell pepper growing. I can see the plant next to it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I should have 2 bell pepper plants, but it looks like maybe it's the red bell pepper that is doing the best. The tomatoes are doing nicely, getting bigger and plumper. They are sitting on a cage, which I think I mentioned I had to go get a new cage because I only had one, and this is the second. So that's okay. That looks like beans actually next to it, and we'll see what we get out of that. Actually, no, that might be another pepper. And I'll have to go up there and look at some other stuff. I can see a weed growing in with the onion there. Middle planter, the really good news, patty pan is doing okay, and it looks like we've got a start on the yard long, so that's nice. We've got one. Yeah, we just got the one patty pan. Oh, there's our friend again. Go anywhere? You're watching me while I'm watching you, huh? All right. The marigold in the back. Yep, there he goes. Marigold in the back has a bud on it, so that's nice. I'm going to have to cut back again a little bit on the 8-ball squash, but I've got a ton of fruits growing in there, starting to get bigger and bigger. They don't quite look right yet. Oh, and I can see another marigold buried back there. So, but I'm going to have to cut this back so it doesn't overcrowd the others. Straight neck, I've got 2 of them growing in here, so that's good. Looking for, that might be the spinach in front of it. So that's a positive. Got our little friend here. Let's see. Did we get water in here? I'm going to have to put water in myself for the birds. Down below, the Swiss chard's looking a little, I don't know. It doesn't look bad, but it's just kind of all over the place. So I think I'm just going to have to cut some more leaves off and save them and figure that out. We've got, the cucumber is still alive, but not growing too quickly. And the dill is doing beautifully. And if we figure out if we can do something else with the dill until the cucumbers catch up. More arugula that is fallen. So yeah, maybe I'll cut that back. I'll figure that out. But look, we've got bush bean. We've got a couple of different bush beans. Well, same variety, a couple of plants. So that's, we've been, after all the problems that we've had in this one spot, with being knocked over and buried and replanted several times only to be taken out by some kind of grasshopper or something. I'm glad to see those growing. That's kind of where we are. I'm going to try and get cranking on the small projects. And yeah, let's just get to the time lapse. I may speed it up a bit because we're probably getting near the end of the video here. All right, not bad. I'm still a little lightheaded, but just wanted to show you, well, I'll show you the, so basically we have the hook up here. I need to seal these holes. We've got a chain coming down to here so I can pull it up, but I needed to leave it just loose enough. Unfortunately, in this particular case, because they don't line up too well, because this hole is actually there because I thought I was going to put a hook here, but it went through. The drill went through into the garage. I'll even show you. There's a little hole in the wall right there. So I missed the mark on that, so I had to come over to actually get into wood to have something to bite into. So that's what this is. Because of that, it has a tendency to want to flop over and do that on me, which when I try to close the gate is a problem. So I've added this little trim screw here just because it's dark color and it's skinny. It's not gonna really compromise the wood. Hopefully what that will do is it'll keep it from coming out too far. If somebody yanks on it and then pulls around like that, then obviously there's, that's not going to solve it. But that's just a first attempt. The first attempt had rope. This is the second attempt with the chain. And this is the first attempt with this little solution here. I did the same thing on the other end, except I didn't actually need this because I managed to get the chain just tight, but just loose enough that I don't worry about it coming around like that. And let me show you the chain. I ended up getting a, it's a light duty chain, but the key, I believe, is that it's non-welded, which means that the links, you can see there's a gap there, and there's a gap on both sides of each link in the chain. So I was able to basically spread it out kind of like that using the pliers, and then be able to hook it around there and then use the pliers to close it back up again, and did the same thing down here. That's why you saw me struggling a little bit. My dexterity is not what it used to be, so it sometimes is a challenge just using a pair of pliers. But anyway, that's that project. Now that I got that working, I think the next thing I'm going to feel better, probably I want to deal with the thermometer over there. I wanted to build a structure to put that on so it doesn't flop around quite so much in the wind. And but I think I'm going to leave that alone, take my chances, because I think I'm going to feel a lot better if I can actually finish the touch-up paint around here. I'll pull a tape off here. I'm going to end up retaping against the new brown color and then touching up the paint on the house, because it's just kind of gotten messed up over the years, and you can see we've got like a little spot here and this and that. So a little bit of sanding. It's not like sanding down a whole gate. This is just from people reaching over. That's just the side of their arm. The oil's from the skin. So let me see about setting up and doing that. As the leaf blowers go in the distance, let's take a quick look. Yeah, my tape job could have been a little bit better, and my aim could have been a little better. I got it mostly taken care of, but I accidentally hit the, I don't know how well that'll come through, hit the brown with the white there, so I'm going to have to touch up the brown. Also missed it up there. I don't know how I did that, but, nobody's perfect. At least it looks a little bit better. The chain looks like it's going to work, so that's good. Got the one on the other end. I still got some cleanup to do. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up here. I can always start 24, I believe it is, episode 24, with me working in the garden a little bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap up so this doesn't become too long. And at least I know I got the gates kind of done, and in the next episode I should be able to finish the gates. That way I know the gates project, which has nothing to do with Bill. I've been holding on that joke for a while. Um, that at least I'll know that that's done. That'll make me feel better. One more thing completed. So I'm going to wrap up here. Take care of yourself. Take care of the ones around you, and may your thumb be green.